Hello and welcome to today's episode. We are so excited to have a special guest on here with us, one of our seven-figure influencer students, Lorie Nijjar. We are so pumped for the value that we're going to be bringing you. And in case we're meeting for the first time, my name's Carrie Hyam. This is Fran Laubscher next to me, and we are two of the beaches here at Beach Boss Influencers. And at Beach Boss, what we do is we help people, network marketers specifically, like you, make more money in less time leveraging automation and social media. And so today we have special guest Lorie. Hello, Lorie. We're so excited you're
Hello.
here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, welcome. So, Lorie, tell our listeners, our viewers, because like we said, this is going to be kind of sent out everywhere. So,
Sure.
tell us a little bit about you and, a little bit about your background before network marketing.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Lorie Nijjar. I live in Virginia and I love it here. My background before network marketing, I was a Black Hawk instructor pilot. I served 20 years in the military and then I retired, and I've actually been retired longer than I was in. So, and then once I retired, I raised my two beautiful daughters, and now they're grown and they're off the payroll. So I had gotten into real estate probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I really had no intention of getting back into network marketing. I had done several different companies. And then one just kind of fell into my lap recently, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll try again. So I've been with my current company for about almost 2 years now.
Awesome. So, how long have you been with Beach Boss now? Because I know that you've been a student of ours.
Barely a year.
Barely a year.
I just renewed. So so the end of March is when I started last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So, before Beach Boss, before, kind of learning some of the things that we're going to be diving into during this episode, what were some of those biggest challenges that you were facing inside your network marketing business?
Okay. So one of the biggest frustrations I had was using lists, and I had this stack of lists on my desk that, my warm market, my cold market, my chicken list, and I could not get consistent with them, and I would skip over names, and I felt like I was hitting the same people over and over again. And it just made me feel gross. I didn't like it. It worked out fine, maybe for about the first 30 days, because your warm market is like super excited to help you, but then after that you're like, hey, over there, and it didn't matter what script I used. Like I just didn't come across genuine. So initially when I joined, I had some good growth, I had some good recruiting, but then that kind of fizzled away, and then I was left with like my same list that I wasn't progressing on, and feeling a little bit less than, seeing some of the other leaders in my organization that were just growing and growing. And I don't know what they're doing differently with their list, but it just wasn't working for me, and I needed something different. So
when you were talking, I was thinking about, so it took me 6 months to sign up my very first person. Customer wise, my first customer that I ever got was my grandma. My grandma, like, she had known that I was like trying to build this network marketing thing. And it was my grandma that was like, yes, I'll buy it. And I remember it was probably 2 months later, she like wasn't wanting to take the product anymore, right? Because she's my grandma. She didn't have a lot of money, right? She's living on Social Security and different things like that. And I remember like how sick I felt when my grandma was kind of telling me that she couldn't afford the product, like she needed, and like she felt awful, right? And how many people listening like have been in that situation where you're so excited to sign someone up and you think that they're loving it and jiving it, when really like it might be a financial strain for them, or maybe the product, because products, people's physiologies are all different. Maybe the product isn't working for them like, they thought it would, and they don't like confrontation to come and say, hey, I don't think that I can take this anymore. And like, it just kind of puts it like, was for someone who's brand new in business. For me, that was like gut wrenching to know that my grandma of all people was the one that supported me, and she did it like on her last dimes that
Oh,
she had.
yeah. I think what's frustrating too is I was talking to another friend that's looking at diving in, and she was mentioning a mutual friend of ours that joined me probably about a year ago, but she did absolutely nothing with the business. And she was having a conversation with her, and she says, "Well, I joined to help Lorie out." And I'm like, "Oh, for the love of God, you're joining for the wrong reason. This is your business, right?" So, like, and and I don't recall having a conversation with her saying, "Hey, I need you to join me so I can earn X, Y, and Z," because I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to
Right.
have quality people on my team that want to do a business. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
She did it because she maybe out of obligation. She loves you, right? She loves you. And maybe she
yeah.
felt that obligation, like, well, I want to support her. And
Well, yeah, it's a pretty hefty investment though. It's not like we have a $50 sign up. Like, it's investment. So anyway, it's neither here nor there.
But I would love to know if anybody else has had people like that. I have a friend that I enrolled when I first, and in fact, the first 2 years, I chased my friends and family, I did all the things. And about 5 years after I stopped doing that, my husband bumped into this friend of mine's husband, and he said, "No, she doesn't want to work for Fran anymore. She thought she was working for me." And she said, "And I have all this product that I was supposed to buy that I still have, these cupboards fulls of product." And I just thought, oh my goodness, like she didn't get, she thought she was helping me and she was working for me.
Yeah.
And I was there. Yeah. So,
and you can't sustain your business like that, right?
No.
Like, if you want market are just doing that just to support you, they're going to, after a year, they're going to leave, right? And so you need people that are joining you for the right reasons, so
yeah. And they're going to feel the same frustration that that we all felt when we invested and then saw no results.
Yeah.
So, and maybe had cupboards full of product. So
yeah.
I always tell people, yes, it sucks not to sign someone up, but it's worse to sign someone up and have them quit. A couple months later.
They really don't want to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about that. Like, okay, so you have your business that you're going, you have people that are kind of joining, not for the right reasons, like, and maybe they're doing it with pure intentions, right? They love you, they want to join you, but what is that feeling like? And everybody, I want you to think about this as well. What does that feel like when someone quits? Right? Like,
yeah, well, I think as leaders, sometimes we just have the tendency to take that on ourselves too. What did I do wrong? Where did I fail them? Where did I not train them or motivate them? Or, maybe other people don't feel like that, but I certainly do. I'm like, what could I have done better? Or as we say, Beach Boss, what might you have done to have retained that person better? But I think we need to keep in mind, they're in business for themselves, maybe not by themselves, we're there to support them. But if they leave, that's their decision to leave. You may not be able to do anything to keep them there. And if you have to drag them to keep them there, then maybe they need to go to a different pasture anyway, right? So.
And I want to bring up, Lorie, you said, did I not motivate them enough? And do you feel like you really can motivate your team? Is it up to you to motivate them?
Well, so, coming from a military background, I have a completely different view and a feel to my team that I think some other people do, right? So
absolutely.
In the military, it was always, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? So that whole 80-20 rule is like out the window. We would focus on our 80% because our 20% are good to go, right? So it's a different vibe in network marketing because you're focusing on your producers. And if the other 80% want your attention, then they need to step it up and get with it. So I'm still having a challenge flipping that mentality. I can't force someone to be motivated, but like I do try to incentivize and encourage. But I have found too that sometimes that does absolutely nothing. And I've put some good incentives out there too. And I was like, wow, I wish some of my upper leaders would do this because I'd be all over it, right? Like, I went through a wall for a pencil, right? Like something out there, So yeah, It's just like you can't force anyone to be happy, right? They've got to make that decision to get up in the morning and to do the things,
Yep. Well, I love that you brought that up, because when it does come to the military, you do have a completely different mindset when it comes to having an organization compared to, this mindset flip that you're kind of having to have. And I think that it can be a strength, right? Like it absolutely can be a strength, but for a leader who has an so I guess, network marketing is more of a volunteer army, and people in the military, they do volunteer, but they're also paid for it. Like it's a job. They're beat, like if they don't, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and if they don't, if they don't perform, then it could be life or death.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
Well,
it's
and
not
it also reflects on their rank. They won't promote, or like there's some other, things there. But
yeah. And I think, with network marketing, because people get in, they have a job, right? They have a job. Most of them have a job, or their spouse has a job, or they have money coming in from somewhere. They catch a vision to maybe have a different life, but they don't understand the iron that they're going to have to walk through to really build it. And when it gets hard, a lot of people quit. So, as a leader, I guess not so much how do you feel like you motivate people, but what can you do instead? Like, what is that thing that you can do instead to kind of, so that people stick around longer? What is it, some of the things that you're doing in your organization right now?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've done is I've automated a lot of things, right? So like I have a team page, and as soon as they're into the team, they get launched on the guides, and they can, I'm giving them good, clear direction. And I think that is essential, because otherwise they're grasping at straws. They don't, they don't know what direction to go in. And I don't know, having that roadmap, if you will, for them to go step 1, step 2, step 3, and doing that, and showing them ways that they can save time and get the time freedom that they thought that they signed up for, right? Because that's the big thing that we hear, network marketing, time freedom, and all that. And you can find that it can be a huge time suck if you don't do the right things and get things in order. So I mean, I have some things that I've created, my own DMOs for my team, and stuff like that, to keep them on track so that they see success faster. So,
and having this set up, Lorie, having this automation set up and the team system set up, what has that done for you as a leader?
Huge time. Yeah, huge. I mean, some of the systems that Beach Boss provided, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention them or not, but Lead Magics. I'm a huge fan of Lead Magics. Like, that is my favorite tool. And I mean, at a click of the button, be able to send 40, 50, 60 instant messages. Come on now. Like, that is amazing. And I use that not so much on the recruiting side, but I use it for my customer base. Like, we just had some new products that just came out, and I was able to, like, hey, Jane, I'm so excited to let you know that we just had this new flavor come out, and it's awesome, right? And then boom, it's gone. And so while that's sending, I can do something else. And that, not having to copy paste, and then Facebook get mad and shut me down, and like all that is amazing. And I also use that for my my customer blitz that I do every month, and keep that nice and organized. So that's, I don't know if I went off on a tangent, but that's definitely my favorite system.
Not a tangent at all. These are some of the systems that we're talking about, right? Like,
I mean, that is gold. I mean, that is total gold. Like, I was happy that when I signed up again, that I got that for this year, because I mean, I probably would have bought it, truth be told, but like, I love it. It's I recommend it to everybody all the time. I mean, with people outside of Beach Boss, everything, I'm like, you've got to get this. It's just ridiculous for you not to,
So what's kind of the flip? So, I mean, you were before Beach Boss, before putting some of these systems and processes in place, you were struggling, you kind of had some of these big challenges that we talked about before that you were going through. Now, like, what are some, and I don't mean to steal Fran's questions, but what are some of those breakthroughs? What is like your day DMO look like now every day? What are some of the wins that you've been
Yeah.
seeing?
So some of the wins is that, I got ads running now, right? So now I'm getting leads are coming in on a consistent basis. So people coming to me rather than me going down that god awful list and wondering who's going to say no to me, right? Like, so people are pre-qualifying themselves as they're coming in. So that's huge. People that I want to talk to me. So that's real nice. But my DMO, which used to take me at least about 2 hours to do, is cut down like in half, because a lot of the stuff is now automated, like simple things like birthday messages. I used to go in, look up the Facebook messages, and some days I might have one person that had a birthday, but some days I would have 10. So here I am individually going into them, doing their message and that can be a huge time suck. But with Lead Magics, it does it for you. And I have some pre-made messages and it's amazing. So getting time. I mean, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? So to best utilize them to free up other parts of my life, I just love it.
Yeah. So what are some of those other pieces of your life that you now have time for that you didn't before?
Oh, well, now, I mean, I have a personal trainer now. Now I whine and complain about it all the time on Facebook. I actually call him the warden. And, but like I have time. What's that? My prison training. Yes. I posted again today. I broke out of prison for 3 weeks, but now I'm back in there. Yeah. So I have time to put that into my life again. I have that priority on, and I've always had pretty much a lot of flexibility to travel, but now I can do that without, at least if I'm doing a DMO and I'm on a travel, I'm not taking so much away from like my vacations or whatever. As a realtor, I work from home too. So, I have to wear a couple of different hats, but I'm now going to try to learn the skills that I learned from my direct sales business and switch that over to the realtor side of it too. Right. So, I mean, the training that I have gotten, the skills that I have learned is endless. I mean, I'm thinking, I can build a funnel for this and I can build a funnel for that. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I love about what we teach. I mean, I have other things that I work on, right, outside of Beach Boss, where it's all because of the marketing that you learn, right? Marketing, yep. Once you understand marketing, once you understand how to attract people to you, I mean, those are skill sets that can be, it's not just one industry focus. Like, what's the word that I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? It can go anywhere, right? You can use it anywhere.
It applies to business in general. The thing like when we teach you how to figure out what your avatar is.
Sure.
Any major company, they know who their perfect people are. They know who their perfect customers are.
Right.
So how does this?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to train my downline. Like, I just came back from a convention and I had a couple of downline with me, and we had a few hours just to do some things, and to be able to take those skills and then pass them on to them, and say, look, there's such an easier way for you to do this if you'll just take a look at this. And it's challenging, right? Because we come out of session and all they're talking about is making lists and doing this and doing that. And I'm just like.
And so do you find that your downline is starting to implement, what you've learned in Beach Boss?
Some of the things, right? So just getting them to get consistent on a DMO, and especially with like social media posting and stuff like that, and doing things that are posts and questions that attract people rather than repel them. Like, don't put the product all over your page 100 times a day. Stop that, So, and I still see people doing it, but then I look at some of my upper leaders and I tell them this. I said, go look at their stories. Go look at their page. Do you see that all over theirs? No, you don't. So, I mean, do what successful people do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, and I think that with a lot of people, where the confusion comes from is influence, right? Because there are people that are successful in network marketing doing some of the stuff that, I mean, they're teaching it to their teams, like, well, we're going to go and we're going to DM people. We're going to post our products all over our pages. We're going to do this. But if you have influence, it's going to work for you.
Of course. Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if
the
you
other
have
98% of us don't have that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And so when, me especially, like it took me 6 months to enroll my first person, right? Like I was doing everything wrong. And I mean, I had a lot of friends, but I didn't have influence over those friends.
Right.
They like me, we hang out, but they don't want to do business with me. And that's
Right.
where the majority of people fall. So we need to put systems and processes in place
Sure.
for those people so that those people know what they need to do, help them identify the small wins so that they stick around longer to actually start to get some of the big wins.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And you find,
right.
so, I mean, you've set up these systems and processes for,
Yeah.
I say processes, you say processes, systems and processes
Processes.
for your team.
Yes.
You know, and how does it make you feel when they start plugging into it, when they start, you know, seeing the little wins?
Yeah, it's for me, it's awesome because I'm not doing the same job over 50 times, right? Like, not that I've had 50 people coming this week, I'm exaggerating, but it's nice to know that the system is in place and they can, at a self-pace, work through that. I'm not that I don't want to help them, but there's going to be a point to scale where I'm going to not have enough time to handle the amount of people that are joining the team. I mean, I need them to be trained, but there's, only so many hours a day, only so much of me. And, and I want it to be consistent too, right? I want them to all follow the same path. One day, if I was just doing it all willy nilly, I might forget a huge piece of something. And now it's in a plan and a roadmap.
Yep. I had a mentor of mine once say, people can't be duplicated, right? I mean, if you take a look at your background, Fran's background, my background, we're all different. We have different skills. We've got different superpowers, as I like to say, right? We're good at different things. And when people come in, they take a look at Lorie and they're like, oh, I can't be successful because, Lorie, she has a military background. She's disciplined. She has, this is the reason that Lorie's been able to find success. It's not going to work for me.
Right.
However, so people can't really be duplicated. Like, you want to lean into the things that have made you successful because it's your strengths that will help you be successful in multiple, wherever you go. But systems and processes can be. So it's like, how do we take and create a system or a process that anybody can follow? They do X, they're going to get the result of Y, and it works time and time again. You can add your own flair. You can be free to be yourself and to, lean into the superpowers that you have, and still the duplication happens.
Right. Right.
Yep. We're not trying to create an army of robots.
Having that duplication system in place, right? Like, they can see themselves maybe doing that down the road, right? Like, oh, well, when I grow a team, I can have my own team page, and all I have to do is I tell everybody, steal it all. I don't care. And then they can do that, and they can see themselves in that leadership role with that system in place. I remember when I was in another company selling another product, and I would do these elaborate displays at these home parties.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of them because they had levels and they had this and that, and I'm toting like all this product in so that people can have product when they leave that day. And I just wasn't growing. And I had a leader tell me one time, she's like, you're defeating your own recruiting efforts. I'm like, what do you mean? Look at my display. It's beautiful. She's like, yeah, because people say, I can't do that. I can't make it look as pretty as that. And I don't want to carry all that around. And once I scaled it down and made it simple, things got on fire again. Right. So the same holds true with this training that we have and, this roadmap with, even you guys, the Beach Boss roadmap. It's simple. Go to A, then go to B, then go to C. Like, you couldn't make it anything easier to understand. I mean, it's a wonderful system. I mean, I loved it. And one thing, I'm just going to throw another thing out to you guys for your trainings. I love that you kept your videos nice and short, right? You might have 5 videos in one section, but they were short enough to where it kept my attention to where I didn't click on it and go, oh God, this is 30 minutes long. Like, I was like, oh, it's 10 minutes. I can do 10 minutes. Right. And the next time I was like, oh, I'll do another 10 minutes. So bravo to you for doing it that way, because I thought it was really good.
We're trying to deal with squirrels. We're hurting cats in those videos.
Yeah, it's true though.
But also, the same applies then when you create the system for your team, is keep it simple, keep it short, keep it doable, that anybody thinks that they can do it. But the beauty I'm going to say that the beauty that, what you have achieved with setting up your system is it identifies those leaders, it identifies those people who deserve your time. So people come in, and some people will come in, and this is the nature of network marketing is, some will come in and do nothing, and they may just be your best customer.
Right.
And buy every month, and they're putting volume in your business every month, but they actually never do anything.
Yeah.
But you want to identify those people who truly deserve your time.
But don't you think sometimes, like I have a team member, and she actually went to convention with me, and I know that if she just changed a few things and how she does it, she would do so well. And I think sometimes people play safe for a number of reasons. Either they're afraid to step in, they're afraid of success, afraid of stepping into that leadership role, or they're just scared, period. It has nothing to do with the leadership role. I don't know what it is. And I'm trying to make this person blossom. I'm like, I see the vision. I know what you can do. But again, it's got to be their step forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. Most people, it takes them getting to that point where the fear of staying where they're at outweighs the fear of whatever is holding them back. You know, for me, I was shown network marketing for the very first time 6 months prior to when I actually ended up joining that company. And, and I was shown by the same people. Like it was my husband's mother and Brandy Shaver, who's another one of the beaches here in Beach Boss Influencers. And when they first came and showed me, this, I had just had a brand new baby. My husband was making good money. Like I had my nail salon in my house. And it wasn't until 6 months later that my circumstances had completely changed. And that was when it was like the fear of staying where we were at outweighed the fears that I had to actually start to grow.
There was a quote I heard at convention. I wanted to bring it up, and it said, when the should becomes a must, that's when change happens. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was pretty impactful, right? Like I should do this, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to, I must do this or else I'm not going to be able to pay a light bill, or I must do this, if I want my kid to go to dance lessons or something like that, that's when the change happens. So.
Yep. So we just love on people, right? We love on the ones that aren't quite to that must yet.
Yeah.
We continue to love on them and
they're loyal too, right? So, I'll take loyalty over fakeness any day, right? That I think, and maybe you guys are the same, but again, coming from the military, loyalty, integrity, everything. Just if you're going to be loyal to me, that means just be honest with me too, right? If this isn't for you and you need to go, hey, God bless you, happy trails, but don't stay for the wrong reasons, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's where the beauty of lead magics comes in as well, is that you can stay in touch with them. You don't have to be, you can just make sure that you're in touch with them every month, that letting them know that you're there for them without spending a ton of time trying to motivate them, trying to get them going, trying to help them find that must.
Yeah. And with lead magics too, the birthday strategy, that's opened up more conversations. It's wonderful because I'll first to admit, even when it came to do the birthday messages, I was a little bit selective. I was like, they probably don't want to hear from me anyway. And I might not send them a birthday message, but like with lead magic, there's no option. They're getting it.
They just go out.
Right. So yeah. And it's been kind of neat, it's mostly been like old high school friends and stuff, but it's been kind of neat to open up those and you never know where they're going to lead. Right. So
Absolutely. So I guess, what if you could leave our viewers with one big piece of advice, what would that be?
Well, I would definitely say get on one of your programs. I joined off an ad. I saw an ad for, I don't know if it was Social Recruiting Secrets or which one it was. And I was very skeptical. And when I had the call about, which program to go, it was a difficult decision for me to step up into the 7-figure, but I knew I had I knew the academy probably wasn't a right choice for me because of just the background that I had and the experience that I had. And it was a lot to chew, but I don't regret it for a single second. When I tell people that I have 3 coaching calls a week. I have 6 different coaches, a tech person, a branding person, all of that. That is invaluable. At this last convention that I was at, some people talking about, oh, I want to do, a training by another person or this other person. And I'm like, how many people do you think are going to be in that room when you're doing that training on that Zoom? 30, 40, 60 maybe? I said, I have the direct attention of these coaches. And I said, there's like, at most I've seen maybe 12 people in a room. And I said, and if you can't be there, it's okay. You submit your question, they will answer it and you can watch the replay. I said, not for once do I not feel noticed, known, attended to. Like, it has been the best investment ever. And I felt like my hand has been held when it needed to be held. But then when it was time for me just to do the
Push.
work, and yeah, I was like,
Give you a kick in the butt.
and applauded when I came back. I mean, I had a tough time. I lost my mom in September. Like, that knocked me out for 2 months.
Yeah.
But then once I got back, it was like, hey, rah, good for you. You did it. And then that propelled me forward. And I swear, like, at the last bit of building my funnel all came at once. It just bing, bing, bing came, and then ads went, and now ads are running. And now I'm looking at doing the license funnel. But and then coming to the event was incredible too. It was like a religious experience. I mean, it was so touching. I mean, out the gate, I was like, okay, where's the Kleenex? Like, I mean, Carrie's going deep. Like, she's no holding back. And the community that we have in Seven Figure is incredible. I mean, there's a lot of side conversations that go on outside of the group, and they're all lovely. I mean, like, I've made so many good friends, and we cheer for each other, and where are you stuck, and accountability wise, the accountability too is a whole nother thing too, because there's no nonsense when you go to your call and it's like, well, and this is some time ago, but like, if you were doing branding in the first week of June and now it's August 1st and you haven't finished your branding, I mean, you'll be held accountable to it. It's like, well, what's holding you back? Come on.
Yeah.
And for me, my feeling was that I've paid for this year. I've got to get this done in this year, because I don't want to run out of time before I've learned everything. And I think that's what put the fire into me about month 9 into it. I'm like, I've got to get this. I've got to understand this before I leave. Of course, then I renewed anyway, because I'm like, I can't leave them. I need here too. I need here too. So I would just say, put your fears aside, take the leap. You will definitely not regret it, because the skill set that you will learn in this, it's going to take you years to learn it and tons of money to learn it from somebody else, and you probably won't get the same results. So it's just, they know exactly what they're doing. They will love on you like you can't imagine. So don't hesitate. Just jump in and do it. That would be my biggest advice.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even have anything else to say.
No.
Mic drop.
Yeah. I love that
Mhm.
we are so passionate about each and every one of our students, and making sure that they see success, that we will do whatever it takes, figure everything out,
Right.
making sure we will give you a kick in the butt when you need it. We will
Right.
push you when you need it, but also make sure that you know that you are loved, that you're supported, that you're in a safe place.
Right.
But it is our passion. It
Right.
truly is our passion. And
it's a whole package. It's not just the coaching, right? Let's talk about the tech side of it too, right? Chris and Esther and Ben. I mean, for real. I mean, you get these one-on-one tech calls, and they'll guide you through it, and you'll be sharing your screen, and they will make sure that your funnel is perfect, that everything's firing correctly and everything. But if you can't do it, they'll be like, okay, just hold on a second. They take over and they fix things for you. There was something I had going on in my my sequences for my emails, and Esther had talked to Ben, and Ben behind the scenes went in and fixed it all without me even knowing. And then I talked to Esther. She's like, oh yeah, Ben took care of all of that. And I'm like, so it's not just getting coached on how to be successful and the steps to do it. I mean, to have that tech package in there too, and to have that safety net, because not everyone is like super tech savvy, and you can
No.
get
Majority of people aren't.
to
Yep.
to build this funnel. But there's a lot to it. And I know you have the branded funnel. I'm one of the OG people, but like still there's a lot to that too. And understanding how everything
Yep.
correlates with the other, how you have to have the opt-in and you have to have the thank you page and where the pixels go and all that. I thought I was pretty tech savvy. I'm in a completely different world when I came over here. I was like, what's a pixel? Like the pixel to me is a part of a picture, right? Not what it's used for. So I mean, to get that, and now that you guys have the branded funnel, oh, God bless America. That's amazing. Though I'm grateful for coming in when I did, because I learned how to do it the other way.
Yeah.
And having, the way I have my sales page and everything, it was tough going through that and having to create everything, but I'm glad I learned how to do that. But the way you have it now, where they just walk right on in, and that's incredible. It really is. I mean, yeah, bravo for creating that. I'm getting ready to start on it too. So
perfect. 2.
Awesome.
You'll have 2.
Actually, I have 3 because I made one from my Jeep.
You made your own one too. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I made my Jeep one too. So,
Yeah.
I got that going. So that's fun. So
one day you'll look back and you'll have like 80 funnels, and you'll be like,
Right.
I remember when I only had one.
Right. Actually, when I was able to take my Jeep one and I completely duplicated it for a team member. So I'm like, oh, here's a little side hustle I can do over here too, right? I could just duplicate funnels and make them for people. Like, yeah.
Yes.
So there's that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, Lorie, like, thank you so much for your time. For those who are listening, I mean, I think it was just packed full of a ton of value. Thank you for sharing like some of your life experiences, your experiences before, your experiences that you're having right now, in our program. We love you. We love coaching you every single week. And thank you for taking the time to be here with us. So
absolutely. Yeah, it was my honor to come in here. So thanks for inviting me. And I will see you guys
Lorie.
on the next coaching calls or traffic calls or tech calls. Or I love it all the things.
Absolutely. So for those who are watching, those who are listening, depending on where you are as you're hearing or listening to this right now, there's going to be a link somewhere below, above, maybe to the side of whatever you're at, wherever you're watching from, right? There's going to be a link, might even be in the comments. Grab that link so that you can find out how you can get more help, right? As you're hearing about some of the help, some of the tech pieces, some of the things that we've put in place with Lorie, and you're like, man, I need that. There's going to be a link. Click it, go grab it. You won't be disappointed, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right. Bye.